give everybody a trophy. That's what they did tonight. They gave a trophy, a win, a huge win, to Horn, the local kid, for trying hard. You're not supposed to get it for trying hard. You're supposed to get it for winning.
What's up, fight fans? Thank you once again, as always, for tuning in. Remember, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be putting out loads of videos, loads more content, and I want you guys to be the first to see them. So hit that subscribe button so you will get notified as soon as my videos are coming up. For those of you that are coming back to the channel, thank you so much. Let's get straight into it. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Arthur Abraham, a fight that goes down on ITV box office. That's my first thing I find just ridiculous. I mean, look, I'm happy that ITV have come back into the boxing ring. Growing up in the 90s, I used to see so many big fights on ITV, but it definitely wasn't box office. And I feel like it's almost, they've entered half-hearted, right? Not many people are going to pay for this fight. Not many will pay box office to watch Chris Eubank Jr. versus Arthur Abraham. The numbers will be ridiculously low. I think 20,000? I don't know, that's a win for them. That might be a win. I don't know what the box office charge is, because I have no interest in watching it on box office. I'll probably try and stream it somewhere, but that's probably a win for them, right? 20,000-30,000. Where if you put this on ITV primetime, 9 p.m. or 10 p.m, you get millions tuning in, and then you make that money back through adverts and revenue that way. So I think it's not good for boxing. This is a box office fight. If this was on Sky, it wouldn't be a pay-per-view fight. So I think if ITV are going to come back into boxing, let's just give it a real push, ITV. Let's not do half-hearted, which you're doing right now. Other than that, it's a decent card. It's a decent card. There's many other good fights on the card as well. So I'm sure that for those that are paying, for those that are going to go there, for those like me that are streaming it, we're going to be entertained. I think we're going to have a good night of boxing. All right. Let's talk about it. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Arthur Abraham. King Arthur Abraham and Chris Eubank Jr. That's making big waves in boxing right now. Not necessarily, I don't think, from what he's doing in the ring, but kind of what he's saying outside the ring. What him and his dad are doing to promote their fights, which is good. They're doing very well. They're almost like this comical tag team. Some people have ridiculed them, especially for the comments made about Kell Brook, especially for what they did with GGG. Everyone kind of saying lost their pen, blah, blah, blah. But nonetheless, whether it's good publicity or bad publicity, the Eubanks are right in the forefront of boxing. So either way, they're cashing in. They are cashing in. So what about this fight? Arthur Abraham's fought a who's who in the middleweight and super middleweight division over the years. And when you think about it, obviously getting into Super 6 as an unbeaten fighter, he was one of the favourites. People might forget that. He was one of the favourites with Mikael Kessler to win that. It didn't quite go that way, but nonetheless, we got to see Arthur Abraham against Andre Durrell, Andre Ward, Carl Froch, and it's good to see him. I guess for him, the thing is he lost all those fights. So it's almost like, was he being protected too much in Germany? I still think it will go down as a very, very good fighter. Hall of Fame fighter, not at all, but a very, very good fighter nonetheless. And there's still, I think, a lot left in the tank for Arthur Abraham. He's not one that takes serious amount of punishment. He always seems to have that kind of high turtle guard, and then he seems to almost pounce on you. And he does that. He steals rounds, as Arthur Abraham do. Doesn't necessarily knock people out that much anymore, but definitely gets decisions quite a lot. And I think Arthur Abraham still is a very, very good fighter. All right, sorry, let me take that back. Arthur Abraham still is a good fighter. And he's a level way above anything that Chris Eubank Jr. has fought. And when you look at Chris Eubank Jr.'s last 4 or 5 opponents, you must have to question, is this a step too far? I mean, look, Spike O'Sullivan, Nick Blackwell, Tom Doran, Quinlan, all way below world level fighters for me. Yes, he's got the job done. He's knocked them all out. But nonetheless, this is a big step up from those names I just mentioned to someone like Arthur Abraham that's mixed it in with the best. And even in the losses, is done okay. Apart from the Carl Froch and Ramirez fight, which I think he absolutely got schooled in both of those, he's done okay. So there is a blueprint to beat him, but the blueprint isn't easy. And I don't know if Chris Eubank Jr. can do that blueprint. Carl Froch and Ramirez, they had to work full on 12 rounds, full on. Watch the fights. They literally didn't take their foot off the gas for 12 rounds. And that's how they got the decision. Look, they both won comfortably in the end, but believe you me, their gas tanks would have been lowering and lowering and lowering because they just didn't stop throwing punches. Can Chris Eubank do that at the heavier weight class? I don't know. I don't know. Will Arthur Abrams show him a few tricks that he's maybe not seen yet? He's now stepping on to world level. I think it's fair to say Arthur Abrams is still world level. But he's stepping up to world level now. And it remains to be seen whether or not his punch power can detonate people like the way it's detonated people at the fringe European or British level. I'm not sure. 168 pounds, yes, Arthur Abrams isn't the biggest super middleweight, but he's been in the super middleweight division for a few years now. Chris Eubank's just stepped into it. How will he fare on the night? When you look at Chris Eubank, you look at him, and at the weigh-ins, he's super ripped, right? Super ripped. When he walks into the ring, he's one of the only boxers that still looks super ripped. So you know he's not putting on too much weight, where Arthur Abrams is probably going to come into the ring about 180, maybe even 185. I guess the question's going to be answered when Chris Eubank lands his best punches and Arthur Abrams still stays there. Then we'll see how good Chris Eubank is. I think what Chris Eubank needs to do and what's key is he's got to throw combinations. He loves doing that. But he's got to mix it up as well. I think he goes to the head far too much. I think he's got to go to the head and the body. And good foot movement. Arthur Abrams is very, very ploddy. I think good foot movement just causes him so much disruptions. He almost looks like a robot that's malfunctioning when boxers kind of dart in and out. And Chris Eubank's got good foot movement, but he's going to have to do it, like I say, for 12 rounds. That's not easy. We saw in the Paul Smith rematch, Paul Smith tried to do that for 12 rounds. It didn't work. The gas tank ran empty. Is Chris Eubank Jr. a lot fitter than the likes of Paul Smith and Martin Murray? I think so, just on physical appearance. So I think he can go 12 rounds, and I think he should expect to go 12 rounds. What you don't want to do against Arthur Abrams is almost empty that tank too soon, because he will be there. Arthur Abrams, I think, my recollection, has only been stopped once, and that was by Robert Stieglitz, and that was because the referee stopped it because of that swollen, gruesome eye. He will go the distance, and it's just a case of whether or not Chris Eubank has the gas tank to go the distance with him. But it is a very good fight. Look, the winner enters the Super 6 tournament, and I think it will be Chris Eubank Jr. that goes into the Super 6 tournament, and then we get to see him possibly against the likes of George Groves and Callum Smith. I think they're fantastic matchups for him. Callum Smith just seems to be a whole... Callum Smith versus Chris Eubank potentially looks like a middleweight versus a light heavyweight. So that'd be very interesting to see what happens with that. But look, I'm happy for Chris Eubank. I think he's fantastic for boxing. I think he will beat Arthur Abrams. I don't think it will be easy. I don't think he should expect to blow Arthur Abrams out the way he's been blowing out all these other opponents. Arthur Abrams clearly is a level above those. But I think it's a good name on the record, and it will be a good win. And I think it sets him up fantastically for the Super 6 tournament, where I think so far we're getting a good mix of experience and youth in terms of Jürgen Bremer experience and George Groves experience, and the youth in terms of Callum Smith and Chris Eubank. A very good mix there, and I can't wait to see that tournament start. But what do you guys think? Chris Eubank versus Arthur Abrams. Can Chris Eubank stop Arthur Abrams? Something, again, I don't think ever happened before. Can he do that? It's a big statement if he can. Regardless if Arthur Abrams 37, 38. Nonetheless, it's a good statement. And what for Arthur Abrams? I mean, what's he motivated by now? Is it money? Does he want titles still? He's been there and done it, like I said, at both middleweight and super middleweight. He's a two-weight world champion. What's the get up? Why is he still fighting? Can he still really mix it with the best of super middleweight? I'm not sure. But like I said, I don't think the division's thick anymore. The likes of Badou Jack going, Andre Ward going. Can he beat Chris Eubank Jr.? And if he does, is it an upset? But what do you think about Chris Eubank Jr.? Only one loss on the record. That was to Billy Joe Saunders. For the record, I think if they were to fight again at 160, I think Chris Eubank Jr. smashes him, personally. But where do you guys think Chris Eubank Jr. can go? Are we looking at something special, or are we being force-fed because of the name? Let me know what you think. Remember, hit that subscribe button. You can tweet me as well. The address is below. And thanks for watching another edition. Cheers.